Hey guys, welcome out today. I want to talk to you about how to use APIs. So this video is going to be dedicated to using an API. We're going to use a food nutrition one and extract some data on that. But I'm going to be using Python. You can see here on my screen, I kind of already have a couple things set up here. But let me talk about Google Colab and the IDE that I'm using. So this coding interface, if you type in Google Colab, you should get right to it. It's one of the first things to come up because Google, and then go right in, click New Notebook, and you'll be right ready to start where I'm at. So once you've done that, probably pause the video, catch up with me here, at least as far as you can get, right? So these keys are going to be example keys. So maybe put in this line and then this next line, I'll put this up above. So get these two lines and then join me there and I'll start talking about APIs. So going right into that, we are going to talk about what an API is. API is an application program interface. I don't want to get too technical here, so I'm going to give you an analogy. It is like a backdoor to a database. You now no longer have to go to the website, search something for every point that you want, right? Like if I'm trying to look up a lot of foods and what their calorie count is, I don't have to search each one of them on Google. I can now just use a database and extract that from a list of items. So let's go over to back to here. Three things that a API always has is a method. So if we come to here, you can see there's like a get method, a post method. So I'm just using this website. In fact, I'll have you go there right now. Go to developer.edamam.com. So yeah, just copy that. I'll probably put it in the description below, so you can probably click the link there. And yeah, so once you're there, you'll have to sign up for the API, and here's why. So let me talk about those three things. So one is you'll always have like a URL, then you'll have keys, and then you'll have that method that I was talking about. So the method is going to tell you whether if you're posting to the database, then you're updating the database or you're creating stuff in that database. Whereas get, we're going to be using this one. It's the easiest to do when you're first starting out. So we're just going to be able to kind of read only and view only this data. So, okay, going back here, talking about keys. So I mentioned you'd have to sign up. You're going to have to sign up because we're going into the database. They obviously want you to be somewhat verified to use their information. And so, and it varies per API how much you're going to have to be authenticated and authorized. But for this one, it's pretty easy. So let's go to this website. It's developer.edamam.com, and then you'll have to sign up for the API. And I just put it, make up a username, put your email, password. Organization is none, and then choose developer because that is the free one right here. This nutritional analysis one. Okay, if we go to if you go to like pricing, somewhere in here is pricing. Although I've forgotten where it's at. Maybe I can go, oh, there we go. So over here on pricing, it's all free for this developer. So choose that one. Once you've done that, you will get granted a access code. Or sorry, yes, you'll have like a key, so that access code is the key. If we go right here, you're going to get an app key, and you're also going to get an app ID. So we need those two things. And once you have those, just copy and paste them just like I have into variables. Now I've hidden my actual ones, so I don't know. Who knows what you guys could do with those, but anyways, so you'll get the keys, put them in there, and then you've already done these two steps. So let me hurry and just run these. Okay. If you're not familiar with code blocks, you're welcome to still code out in one big section. I like using code blocks that Google Colab gives you because you know that something is finished, and maybe I want to do something on one line, and focus on that and go to the next one. So I'm going to continue to do it in blocks, but you could essentially do all of this in one big block. Okay. Next thing. So what we need is to set up a variable called REQ. And that is just going to hold all of our data that we're bringing back in from our get. So we're calling RQ, so request.get, that's the method. The URL is the one we have up top, so URL. And then params equal options. Then we haven't made options yet, so let's go ahead and do that. So the URL is pretty important. This is an endpoint. This is telling us where we're getting. This is telling the program where to get the data from. This is the method that we talked about. Get. They also have like, post, but we'll go ahead and use get. So options. This is another key part because we need to have that app key and app ID in there. So our app ID is going to just be what we put before. Whoops, I'm doing a dictionary, so I need to have a colon instead, and then app key, and that's just going to be the key we set up, and then ingredient equals ingredient. Whoop. Okay, so here's some important stuff about this. Let me turn these into strings. Whoop. I get it. What did I press? Okay, so there we go. So those have to be strings, and then they're separated by a colon. This is technically the key. Notice I put these in a certain way. It has to match what the documentation reads. So not only does that have to match, the type has to match, and these guys have a pretty good documentation. A lot of times when someone doesn't specify that, you'll have to search, all over the internet to find out what to put in the parameters. Okay, we need to make an ingredient variable. So let's go do it up here. Ingredient equals, I don't know, today I had a banana, so one banana. And the way the ingredient or this parameter is it is taking the size. So I could say 1 cup of chocolate chips, or I don't know if you can actually say 1 cup, but you could do like 1 cup of milk and that would work. But we're going to do 1 banana because you wouldn't do a cup of bananas. That'd be a little weird. Let's go ahead and run that. Okay, and then right here, I want to just, the cool thing about Colab is I don't need to technically write print here. It will just print the last thing that you put. So the last object or variable. So there we go. 200 means that it works successfully. If you get a 400 or 500 or sometimes other numbers, it means that it didn't go through for some reason. Like if I had misspelt this and we ran this and then we ran this, now I'm getting response 400. So it's important to know that your keys are correct, and not only that your keys are correct, but that your URL is correct. I would say 9 times out of 10, one of those things is wrong if you get a problem. Okay, so now we're going to just put .json on the end of this little, of that line so that it turns it into the JSON packet, or in other words, it gets the JSON packet that we need. So now let's log this. I don't think I ran this again. Okay, that's kind of nice too. If you put JSON, you see what the problem was. Okay, let's see. Let me scroll down a little bit, give you a little more room. Okay, so this looks very ugly, and a lot is going on here because we just pulled part of their database. So we can get into these because this is JSON. You're able to slice through and get into each one of these fields. So we're going to do, the way to do so is to have brackets, and then you'll notice the IntelliSense here gives me my keys for this dictionary, the JSON. that came through gets turned into a Python dictionary. Now I can get from these keys like total nutrients. Or actually, I want to start with calories. Let's keep it simple. So let's go ahead and request for that. There we go, 102. So just like that, we were able to pull from what they had stored into what we needed. Maybe we want to set this in a variable, calories equal, and then maybe we wanted to know the protein. I want to know how much protein I got from this banana that I ate this morning. So we're going to do the same thing, request. Okay, so I looked at this earlier. I know that it's in total nutrients. See, here's why I like the code blocks. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put this in its own code block. I'm going to put that. I no longer need that because it stores these variables for you, which is awesome. Okay, so now I can look at this. So I know it's in total nutrients. Let's scroll down a little bit more. Okay, so we're here. And I need to, okay, the protein count, and then we need to get the quantity and the unit. So, scroll back down here. So, whoops, that was the wrong order. Want that, and then we want that. Okay, so from that, we can now print these out. So I'm just going to print it this way, calories, whoops, and that is now calories. This little bracket is where I put the variable calories, cool, and then let's go ahead and print out our protein as well. Okay, we might want and I can put a space and then another one, and we're going to call this unit, and right here we'll change this just to unit. Okay, let's go ahead and run this and see what we get back. Perfect. So it had taken our original request and it just was able to go in and parse out the data that we wanted. So hopefully that makes a little more sense, and you can now hop into APIs on your own. This is part one. I'm actually going to do another part just to break up this video sequence so that you can see this go through a loop and see it iterated. So hope you like this. If you did like it, feel free to hit the thumbs up and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.